Every now and then the comic book world gets a little bit too confusing and there's too many loose ends that need to be tied up. In these scenarios, a reboot is needed. Hello everyone, I'm your host Brendan Strevig of Superhero Talk. I make Superhero Talk for the Priestley Forsyth Memorial Library. We have a lot of kids who come in asking about comic books, and we only have maybe, 10 to 15 books. So I make these to fill kids in, give them some reading recommendations, give them some knowledge so they can go pick up other books. And that's what I'm here to do for you today too. So today we're covering crisis events. As a young kid growing up in the early 2000s, I loved the X-Men movie and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and my uncle gave me my first comic book, X-Men. And ever since then I've been reading and loved them. Now I want to share that love with other people around the world. Now, one thing I made a lot of dumb mistakes with comic books when I was younger. Believe it or not, in the older days of comic books, and we're even talking just 10 years ago, they didn't label them like number 1, number 2, number 3. I had no idea what I was reading sometimes. I just picked something up that looked cool. Back when I was 8 years old, all this information I'm telling you in Superhero Talk now, I couldn't have told you any of this. I didn't know the difference between a hardcover, a paperback, a volume, a single issue. Like I said, I would just pick up a comic book for a character I like, sit down and read it. But sometimes I would be so confused when superheroes talk about these things I haven't read, or they talk about these big things called crisis events. I had no idea what these crises were. Now that superhero comic books and movies are more popular, we're seeing things like Crisis on Infinite Earths, or you may have heard of this. But these are big, crazy comic book events that were confusing and are often just giant reboots. Now, if you do want to go read these crisis events, don't worry, I'm not going to be spoiling them in this video. I'm rather just talking about what a crisis event is and kind of the order in which ones there are. These crisis events are big comic book events that affect all the heroes in the DC universe, and it's really just a way to reset the world so that you can get back to the basics for the easy readers to jump in. Now, do not freak out. These crisis events I'm about to list are not in order, but at the end of the video I'll cover the order if you want to go through them. The first ever crisis event was Crisis on Infinite Earths. Believe it or not, this was not supposed to be a good story. Rather, it was supposed to bring all these different stories together to tie up some crazy continuity. So do yourself a favor and skip Crisis on Infinite Earths. The next crisis event is 0 Hour, A Crisis in Time. This one's not really vital to anything, and you don't really need to read it. I actually liked it, but I'm a veteran of comic books, and even I was a little confused at parts and had to Google some stuff. The next crisis event is The Final Night. It's not vital, but it's a pretty good story if you ask me. In fact, we covered the complete story of it on our YouTube channel, and you can watch that below. It's less than 20 minutes, and you get to listen and get the whole story. You don't even have to buy anything or read. It's great. Now the next crisis event is Infinite Crisis. It's not really vital to anything, and it's a little confusing. It's not bad overall, but there's definitely some ties to Crisis on Infinite Earths. So to fully understand it, you will have to read Crisis on Infinite Earths. The next crisis event is Final Crisis. Do not pick this up. It has 4.5 stars on Amazon, but it is not good. It's horribly confusing. I don't even know what happened. Now there is some major repercussions in this one, like Batman's dead, Barry Allen's back, Darkseid is gone. But I promise you, it's not good. Don't pick it up. Another crisis event is Heroes in Crisis. I actually liked this, but it's kind of controversial. Some people really hate it with a passion. Others like it. It has 4.5 stars, so it's up to you. Comic books are said to be silly sometimes because they don't have repercussions. But Heroes in Crisis proves that's wrong. Our heroes go through these traumatic events, and Heroes in Crisis sees our heroes on a human level talking about their feelings and how these events have shaped them. So pick this one up at your own risk. If you hate it, don't blame me, I told you. Another crisis event is Identity Crisis. This one's controversial as well, but again has 4.5 stars. Now some people will curse this book as the worst comic book ever written, but I actually really love it. This book is a murder mystery with the superheroes on high alert. Someone knows all their secrets and is coming after their family members. This book deals with some major heavy topics that probably aren't for children, so pick this up at your own risk. Another book to check out is Flashpoint. Now, this is heavily a Flash story, but I would also consider it a Justice League story. Now, comic book fans are very picky. Now, some of these are definitely not crisis events. Needless to say, though, all these things I named all shape the DC universe in some way or another. Now, crisis events pretty much is any comic book story that brings together multiple heroes to face some kind of cosmic threat that's going to destroy the universe or Earth or something. And some of these are proper crises, and some people won't consider them. But I'm telling you, it's all real confusing. Pretty much what you need to know, all these events and books I've listed for you are world-altering books in the DC universe. Now I'm going to tell you the order for them and kind of what goes on, but not too much so you can still read it. The first crisis event is Crisis on Infinite Earths. This saw a powerful being called the Anti-Monitor trying to destroy all dimensions. Next one is Zero Hour, where someone is messing with the fabric of time and space. The sun is going to disappear, and the Justice League's combined powers aren't enough to stop it. I really love this one, but some people don't consider it a crisis. The next crisis event is Identity Crisis. Now again, some people don't consider this a crisis event, and some people really hate this one with a passion. But I actually really like this one. It's a murder mystery. Superheroes are betraying superheroes, and most of it you have no idea what's going on until the end. Next comes Infinite Crisis. This one's actually pretty good and gets to see Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman all separated. And people are coming back from the dead left and right. Additionally, there's robots called Omax attacking, and they also have to deal with Superboy Prime. Next is Final Crisis, and I really don't know what to tell you about this one, other than I thought it was really long, really confusing, and not good, and I didn't like it at all. Next comes Blackest Night. This is another one that's not really a crisis event, but is one of my absolute favorite stories. I love this one so much. But I gotta say, the very beginning, this bad guy named Black Hand does this one thing, and it really stuck with me because it's one of the most disturbing and most dark moments I've ever witnessed in comic books. So you have now been warned that if you read Blackest Night, this guy right here, Black Hand, is a truly disturbing guy, and in just the first 5 seconds, he scarred my 12-year-old mind forever. After Blackest Night, there's a follow-up called Brightest Day, which is technically the next crisis event. Next crisis event is Flashpoint. This is a really good story, but some people don't consider this one a crisis event once again. But you should definitely pick this one up. It leads straight into the New 52. Next crisis event is DC Rebirth. This is another one people don't consider a crisis, but some do. And it reset the world once again and also gave us the worst version of Batman ever. Finally comes Heroes in Crisis, which I told you before was very controversial, but I actually really liked. And some people don't consider this a crisis event, some do. Personally though, we all agree it had way too much Harley Quinn. Well, there you have it. All the major crisis events explained and in order for you. I hope this makes things a little bit clearer. It's very confusing. It can make it very hard to jump in and just start reading a book. But now you know kind of what came and what's going. So you can kind of jump in anywhere now and kind of know what came before and what came after. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you got something out of this video and you have a better understanding of the DC universe. And I can now share my love of comic books with more people. My name is Brendan Strevik. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the other superhero talk videos. And this was made for the Pre-C Forsyth Memorial Library. Supporting us online like this is great, but make sure you stop in person and support us too. Superheroes on the comic book page are awesome to read, but you can be a real hero in real life. Wear your mask right now during the COVID-19 pandemic, please. Listen to books, listen to scientists, listen to doctors. They're not lying to you. Why would they? It makes no sense. So please be a hero. Help your friends, help your family, wear a mask, and keep others safe. Stay safe out there, guys. Have a wonderful day.